What's good, y'all, and welcome to the 48th edition of the Take One podcast, which is the 7th edition episode of the Wrestling Corner. And I'm going to try and get through this quick. I know I'm putting this up late. It's just been one of those weeks. So I'm putting this up late, as well as I have a gifted spoiler cast that's going up late as well. I'm trying to get better at this. I'm trying to drop a wrestling corner, or every Saturday, and I'm trying to drop a gifted every Friday. But I know that's not going to happen. So by the weekend, these two should drop between Friday and Sunday. So that's my window. That is my window. So without any further ado, let me get right into the good and bad of Raw and SmackDown. And like I said, as these progress, I'm going to start trying to fit more into it, which would probably take it a little bit further. Try and squeeze in little news, little wrestling news that came out throughout the week or whatnot. But for right now, it's just going to be the good and bad of SmackDown and Raw. So let's start off with Raw and the good stuff. So Raw starts off with Miz TV, as it's kind of really always been starting off with Miz TV. If you hadn't noticed, in the Mizzies, and then Axel gets an award, and Sheamus and Cesaro gets an award, and then next you get Roman Reigns comes out, basically crashes the party along with Dean and Seth. So you got the whole Shield reuniting. And then they basically come down there and they lay waste to Axel, and they take care of Sheamus and Cesaro, and then they go at the Miz. They basically corner him while he's outside the ring, and then they do the shield bomb, as Michael Cole referred to it, to the Miz, and then they do the fist, or whatever. And then that's the end of that. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to run through these. I'm not trying to make this extra long and all this stuff, because I have a lot of notes. But in any case, after that, the main event is made for TLC, which is going to be the Miz and the Bar, which is Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Shield, which we all kind of knew. Next, one of the next good things about it, which is I don't know, it's kind of it started off as a good thing, and then just went into whatever. But just you will see as I explain. It's Exaro. Apollo versus Elias. Yeah, you can see how I kind of fucked that up. But yeah, so Elias comes out doing the whole walk with Elias thing. And he starts leading on the crowd to basically telling them that, because they are acting the way they are, that he's not gonna sing for them or whatnot. And say, they start getting up in a cheer for it. And then he tells them nah, he's not gonna do that because he loves the sound of his voice too much. And I found that was hilarious. And so he starts playing, but then Titus comes out with a banjo playing while he's playing, and so he's looking like, what the heck is going on? At first, I thought it was an angle where, somebody had messed with his guitar or whatever. But that clearly wasn't the case. As Titus come out, he's playing the banjo. And he starts singing or whatever. Which kind of got, a little, But, yeah, and so after that, Apollo comes out. And then he basically, it's a match that gets started. And so Apollo is showing off his skills. Apollo is one of those wrestlers where if you watch him, you can see that he don't really have a charisma. He may have something there, but he just doesn't have the charisma, something that brings people in besides his skill. I mean, his overall look is good, but just his skill is really, really good. But he just don't have the overall package. But in any case, he shows off his skills. But that's not enough because Elias wins. He basically trips into the middle of the rope, and then he does his finisher, which is the drift away, and gets the 3 count. Next, after that, you got Matt Hardy versus Braun Strowman. Why? I don't know. Matt Hardy is a crazy person because Matt Hardy, he's not a person to back down. I mean, he gives some good offense. And at one point, Strowman, he runs into Matt, and he misses, but runs his shoulder into the steel pole. And then you see Matt, he got the upper hand because Matt then later on does a tornado DDT, which is very, very successful, which turns into a triple fate, which turns into a twist of fate. And after that, the crowd gets like up in a roar. You know, they really feeling it. And then Matt pins him for a 3 count, but he only gets the 1 count. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I like how they did that. And then he tries to give him another twist of fate, but then Braun Strowman turns it into 2 choke slams, which he does it from a standing up position, and then he does the other one where he picks him up from the ground and lifts him up and then choke slams him again. And then after that, he does the running power slam for the win. And so he figures that he's not done with him yet, as he always, is not done with a person. And so Braun Strowman picks him up, and Kerry's mad, like he was about to like power slam him into the graphic screen like he did, was it Kurt Hawkins or whatever. But right as he gets to the top, the Shield comes out, and then Braun Strowman, he doesn't back down. Like he's looking at him. Of course he drops Matt, but he looks at him just standing like toe to toe, and he runs Roman into the graphic screen and start beating up Roman. But it's not enough. So it's not enough because the Shield take him down. And like Dean and Seth hold Braun Strowman while Roman Reigns gives him a spear. And so they then give him the Shield bomb through the announcer's table, which is actually a pretty cool spot. I enjoyed it. And then later on, Mickey has a promo, which was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. Mickey, she hasn't been the one that I've been too impressed with, like, promos. But at the same time, she did pretty good on this one. Alexa comes out, interrupts it, and she has this video package where it was actually pretty funny because it was like an old time kind of video package where it had like an old time like person talking like basically like, back in like when movies first started and having like narrations and all that stuff. It was kind of like that, basically just giving a whole bunch of insults to Mickie James, saying that she's one of the only senior citizens managing to perform today, and I found that was hilarious. I don't know, like in a strange way, I like the angle that they're going with this. It's actually pretty hilarious. I mean, whatever. And then on top of that, Alexis teases coming out to the ring because Mickie kind of baits her to come out there, and then Mickie catches her and beats her down after that, and then tries to go for the mid kick, but then Alexa rolls out the ring. And then also another good thing, as you all know, every week Alexa, just seeing her, yeah, that's a good thing about Raw. Also another good thing, Sasha, yeah, that was a really, really good thing. And then the Miz talks to Kurt Angle, basically saying that something, basically alluding to what Dean Ambrose had said earlier in like an interview with that the Shield had, saying that like they'll take on, it don't matter if it's 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever people, they're gonna like take them down. So Miz takes advantage of him saying that Dean needs to be a man of his word, and if Kurt's a man of his word, he'll do this, have him add another person to their triple threat. I mean, not triple threat, but their 3-man tag team at TLC, that they would add another person to their team. And so he basically convinces Kurt to do it, and he told him that he already has a person. And then what seemed like it really wasn't timed well, about like 10 seconds later, Braun Strowman busts open inside the quote unquote office and looks at and stares down Kurt Angle with like just this mean, intense look, breathing hard and all this stuff, and then walks away. And so now for TLC, we have the Shield versus Cesaro, Sheamus, The Miz, and now Braun Strowman as well. So that match should be pretty interesting. It really should. I mean, shit, they need a main event like this since, Brock is a no-show, and who knows when the next time he's going to show up. But in any case, and the next one of the next best things that I did like about Raw which is kind of like the last thing before I get into the bad stuff, which is at the last match with Kalisto and freaking what's his name, Enzo, going at each other in the lumberjack match. Kalisto does this thing where he does a superplex off of the top rope on to the outside on top of the rest of the cruiserweights, which I thought was actually a pretty cool spot. It was actually a pretty cool spot. But then through the match, really, the match was okay. The match was okay. I wasn't really too excited over it or, really looking forward to it. But Kalisto actually does some pretty cool spots. Not only did he do that, but this match turned out the way I didn't think that it was going to turn out, which was Kalisto winning the Cruiserweight Championship by doing the Selena Del Sol off of the top turnbuckle on to Enzo, and he pins him. And I thought, like, yo, that was kind of like unexpected. Even though the scenario wasn't ideal for Enzo, I don't know what the hell they're doing as far as, Enzo go and him winning the title. Because, first of all, Enzo, I kind of like where they was taking him. But the storyline is just, it falls apart. You feel me? And I guess this is a way to get the cruiserweights back up into... Matter of fact, yeah, now that I think about it, I guess this is a way to get the cruiserweights back into, like, being able to fight for the championship, because more than likely the stipulation for it were that if the cruiserweights touched Enzo while he was like champion, they wouldn't get a chance to go for the cruiserweight championship while he was champion. But since he's not champion no more, now that stipulation is now in void. So now they probably going to put the belt back on Enzo, and then have it to where Enzo is going to go, toe-to-toe with different, cruiserweights for a good little while. And I get why they put it on him, so I don't really have too much of a problem with it. So, when you look at it like that, they need ratings, and Enzo is ratings. He is the money or whatever. So, if this is a way to push the story along to get them out of the corner that they wrote themselves in, I don't have a problem with it. Also, let's get into the bad stuff. I'm gonna just get into it real quickly. Alicia Fox, with this whole throwing fits and stuff, they need to, I don't know, they need to put her back in, not back, but they need to put her in NXT. They really need to, or do something else with her character, because it's just, with her overacting, it's not a good fit. It doesn't make the women's revolution any better for her throwing fits, talking about, they get a chance, I want a chance, and I want it now. It's annoying. It really is. And I don't know why they keep going with it. Even when they first started it, I tried to give it a chance, but it doesn't fit because they're inconsistent with it, And then just with her not being able to act, it doesn't work for me. And that was just like one of the bad parts about Raw. And then in part of the match, Dana, I see that she botches a move. She tries to slam Bayley, but catches her weird and slams her weird. Like, she doesn't get the full effect. Like, she doesn't, grab her fully, which I would love to do. She doesn't grab her fully in picking her up and slamming her, and it's just more, she kind of more falls rather than gets slammed. And one of the next bad things that I didn't like, Finn tries to make Bray scarier than what he is, talking about, I can't get it word for word, I didn't care about writing it down, but he's just it sent chills through his body as he was speaking, and Sister Abigail, and I'm like, are you serious? Really? I get this. If it was any other wrestler, I get it, but literally, you have a persona called the Demon King, and you're getting freaked out by Bray Wyatt. I don't. And it was just the way he was selling it. It just didn't come off as believable. It's just, yeah. And Enzo, does this version of Eat Defeat. If you guys, I mean, it's actually a pretty cool move. Gail Kim does it. That's her finisher, and I actually like the finisher. It's one of the best finishers I've seen, and like, actually, yeah, that is actually one of my favorite finishers. But yeah, but Enzo does it where it's like you pull the person's arm and you put your foot to their face and then you fall back to where your face basically gets an impact from your foot, from their face get an impact from your foot. And it's actually a pretty cool move, and Enzo just does not know how to do it. He did it to Kalisto in the cruiserweight match, and it just fell flat. No pun intended, but yeah, okay. But moving on. So some of the other things that happened, I'm trying new things and trying to get through this because I wanted to get through a lot of the other stuff. But just some of the other things that happened, it was Jason Jordan versus Anderson. I forgot who won. I mean, it's Raw. Who cares? But Enzo had a promo basically to garner the main event. Basically saying that he only defend the title if it's in the main event. Cedric Alexander versus and Mustafa Ali versus Kendrick, Brian Kendrick, and Gallagher. How you pronounce? I guess is how you whatever, but they say Gallagher, Jack Gallagher. Yeah, I think it's Gallagher. Okay, and it's a tag team match, and Kendrick and Gallagher wins. Bray, as I alluded to with the whole Finn thing, he channels Sister Abigail, and he does the double voice. I thought it was pretty cool, whatever. It reminded me of, if you guys ever seen Sleepy Hollow, the scene where Ichabod Crane goes into the cave and talks to the witch, and she starts, and basically her hair goes over her face, and, she turns into this kind of like weird demon thing, and there's speaking, it reminds me of that basically. And so we have a women's 5-way elimination match to see who faced Asuka at TLC. And basically the way it goes is Bayley eliminates Dana by doing the Bayley to belly, which is one of the worst finishers. Which is just a finisher I hate. Then Fox eliminates Bayley with the scissors kick. Sasha eliminates Fox with the bank statement, and then Emma eliminates Sasha literally right after that with a roll up pin. So now it's going to be Emma versus Asuka, which I get it. They wanted Asuka's first match against somebody that she is more than likely going to beat. They don't want to put her against no Sasha or Bayley, somebody like that. They want to put her against somebody that they can just put in her way so she can knock down, which I have no problem with it. And overall, Raw, I'll give it a 7. It didn't get better. It didn't get worse. It was just the same. I enjoyed it. There was some spots out of it that I enjoyed. So, hey, I had no problem with it. Next, we're going to do the good things of SmackDown. And, basically, the show starts off with the Usos calling out the New Day, basically saying that and then the New Day come out, and so it's just a whole bunch of respect given, like a TNA promo. For those who watch TNA, you guys get that. That's the one thing I hate about TNA. I hate it about TNA. It's like just down talk. If you're a heel, down talk the person. If you're a face, then you can give props, or you can still down talk a person, but it seems like almost every promo, whether you're heel or face, you give props to the other wrestler. And it's like, it's cool, but in storyline, you don't need to do it all the time. Like, just come out, down talk them, beat them down, and just walk away. Don't, I respect you. They run up and down the road and blah, 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 and all this stuff, and blah, blah. It's like, if you're a heel, you're not supposed to, I don't know, they didn't get the memo. But in any case, so they New Day the Usos give respect to the New Day, saying that they're the best tag teams around and all this stuff, and that even though their rivalry is basically over, that they respect them and all that stuff for what they did, what they were able to do up in the up in the Hell in a Cell. And so after that, the Hype Bros come out, interrupts them, basically trying to get their shot in. Then Gable and Benjamin come out, basically telling them they need to get to the back of the line. And then we get Brazongo coming out, and right before they speak, the Ascension comes out. And so after that, this is a part that I didn't get about it. I didn't put it with the bad, but I just didn't get it. Daniel Bryan comes out saying that this is not the night, and he seemed like he was pissed off. And then he was like telling like, get out the ring. Like he was saying it like in a heelish type way. And then all the crowd was like, no, 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 and all this stuff. And he was like, just tell him like, get out the ring now, and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? Like, what the hell? Like, is he about to say something? Is he pissed off about Shane? Like, what's going on? Like, why is he acting like this? And then he turns around and says that they're going to find out who's the number one contender for the tag titles. And basically, it's going to be Hype Bros versus Gable and Benjamin versus Brazongo versus the Ascension, and it happens now. And it's like, what? So what was that? What was that? Like, why did you react to them being in the ring? Like, you literally could have just came out and said that, and they would have got out the ring, and then the others would have got up in the ring and just did it. But it's like, what? Like, I didn't get the why he reacted the way he did, but. It's whatever. Next we have Kevin Owens and Zayn coming out doing a promo, and basically KO, he does this whole thing where he's talking about like while he was on top of the table, and Shane, I guess was about to do his fall off the top of the cage. He had already ascended to heaven, and he had right there at the gates, and they told him that they would love to have him, but he's needed. Like, he is heavily needed down back on Earth. And when he came back down here, he found out that he had a guardian angel, which was Sami Zayn. And so then he calls out Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn comes out and gives an explanation why he did what he did. And so his explanation was he was just basically being a good guy was getting him nowhere, because he was promised things by Shane when he first arrived, talking about like, this is a land of opportunity that we're going to treat you, we're going to utilize you better than you was on Raw, but then he comes to SmackDown and he's basically doing the same thing. He's just floundering around doing things from here to there, while Kevin Owens was getting opportunity after opportunity and all this stuff. And so he's like, nah, he can't do it no more. And he still looks at Kevin Owens as a brother. Even though all the stuff that they've been through, he still sees him as a brother. And so he couldn't see Shane basically do that to him. So he then that's the reason why he took care of that's the reason why he did what he did at Hell in a Cell. So yeah, and then we move on to the main event, which is Styles versus Corbin for a rematch for the United States Championship. I almost forgot. And so the match was just a quick back and forth. Corbin runs head first into the steel pole, to the steel post, and then Styles get him for a pin, but it's only for a 2 count. Next, Styles jumps at Corbin, but then is countered and basically just thrown into the floor, which actually looked like a pretty cool spot, because Styles was on the outside of the ring. And so he jumps at Corbin, but Corbin catches him and just literally tosses him on the ground. And so I kind of like the spot. It was actually a pretty cool spot. And then he basically puts him back up into the ring, does the end of days, and then pins him for the win. And yeah, this is, matter of fact, I don't know why I didn't put this with the bad, but I'm gonna add this to the bad. I didn't have too much bad stuff from SmackDown this week, but you're gonna get my score anyway. But one of the bad parts was just the promo at the end of the match. I don't know why it was warranted, but it was bad, as only Baron Corbin can deliver. Another one of the bad things is Natalya is in the same exact boat as Alicia Fox with just being a bad actor. Like, just the way she delivers her lines is kind of like she's saying it as she's thinking of. I ain't gonna say it as she's thinking about it. She's trying to remember her lines as she's saying it. So she's not really giving a full emotion or giving, like, she's not delivering it to where it sounds believable. And it's just, it comes off so bad. But some of the other things that happened, we had a Fatal 4-Way, of course, with Benjamin, Gable, Ascension, Breezango, and Hype Bros. And Benjamin and Gable ends up winning, so they're going to face the Usos. Dasha gets no word from Kevin Owens and Zayn. This was before their promo. And she really didn't sound robotic. I mean, she didn't sound like, she was, had any charisma, but in a sense, she didn't sound, there is no word from Kevin Owens and Zayn. You know how she delivers the shit. Anyway, and then we had Becky Lynch versus Carmella. Becky wins with the submission. You got Orton and Shinsuke versus Rusev and Aiden English. Orton and Shinsuke win. It's a decent match. I really didn't care for it. Even though Randy is my guy, he's still my guy. He's just what they call him, Blandy Borden. Blandy boarding or boring, whatever. And so we get a promo from Rowan and Harper as they're coming back as a tag team, which they really needed to. And it seems like they're repackaged in I forget what they called themselves up in there, but it's something started with a D and Brothers or something. I don't know. But I'm curious to see what they have in store. Next, Dolph demands a rematch with Rude after his loss. And basically just downplaying it, saying that, it wasn't a loss or whatever. And so Rude is ready. He's like, come on down to the ring. Like, I'll give you a rematch right now. And so Dolph, he basically pretends, or he'll lose, well, not lose, but he leads on that he's going to come down to the ring and they about to get this on, but then he turns away and walks away, basically leaving the crowd to boo and all that stuff. So just like a heel does. And for this SmackDown edition, I would give this a 6. Even though I didn't have too many bad things about it, it wasn't too many good things. And I guess you could say that it's because, it's not as long as Raw. But still, in the same sense, it didn't give me a whole lot to enjoy. In a sense, I enjoy Raw a little bit better. This had a lot of stuff on it, mainly that I really didn't care about. And that's basically what it boils down to. So, in any case, I give it a 6. And that concludes this edition of the Take One Podcast, which is the latest edition of the Wrestling Corner. And I'd like to thank you guys for joining me and listening to me talk about wrestling and all that stuff. I'm going to try to put a little bit more up in here, try to condense my good and bad of Raw and SmackDown, and just try and fit at least one or two more items of news in this podcast. But I'm also going to try to do our own, like, wrestling in its own podcast. Like, it's a lot trying to put it with the Take One Podcast and having two, episode titles, as this is the episode of the Take One Podcast number, and this is the number of the Wrestling Corner edition of the Take One Podcast. It's too much. So I'm going to more than likely by Saturday have a new wrestling podcast. So yeah, that's what it is. I'm going to give out the name later on this week. I'm probably going to do another Take One Podcast, and that's going to be, I'm going to give the name out. So you guys look out for it, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.